Welcome one and all you champions of the soggy sock, pioneers of the bleeding boot, and defenders of the crusty toe. The Trenchfoot Society opens its trenches to all. My name is Fred, and this will be the last time you hear of me. That sounds a little bit ominous, but I'm sure you get what I mean. We have new management, so my working on this podcast will be closing to an end, and a new team, a fresh new team, will be starting it. It's actually the same. This is my second Trench Crusade podcast that is ending with me after 5 sessions, so there seems to be a pattern here, and it's not intentional. Over the Top podcast that had 4 or 5 sessions, then one episode where I wasn't involved, and then the next one it crashed. And this is the same. Sorry, but I made sure that a new team of guys is more than eager and professional and happy and will be giving you your content you actually deserve and are accustomed to at this moment. It won't be with funny European accents, because the new team is all American, which is good because the largest part of our fan base is all American as well. So that's okay. I'll be listening on, and I promised those guys that I recorded a small tidbit of information just to send me off and maybe give you a little bit of information, because after Over the Top podcast ended, a lot of you messaged me with, "Hey, what happened? What went wrong?" And I did not respond to a lot of those people because, well, some things may be personal, or it's just like some people just like a little bit of drama, and I was not willing to give that drama. Now it's a completely different story. No, it's not. It's the same. It's just, yeah, well, people, sometimes things don't work out, and sometimes crews or people that get thrown together to do a project, well, it just doesn't work. And this was the case. It didn't work. There's a lot of possibilities. Either we saw it differently, there was maybe a little bit of an age gap or a perspective gap between us. Communication wasn't maybe all that great at times. Or I'm just a real son of a bitch to work with, and that's a very, very large possibility. So since I am the common denominator of both crashes, it must be me, right? Well, it is what it is, and we had a good run. We had fun. I learned a lot of it from it, actually. And yeah, it was a good run, and now it's not ending. Where the Trenchfoot Society is going strong and going on. And I'll be listening to it, and I guess so will you. Well, I'll be listening it from my ditch. Feel free to visit me in that ditch sometimes, and I'll see you somewhere along the road. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Trenchfoot Society podcast. My name's Johnny, and your other hosts are Eric, Mike, and Mike.
Morning. How's it going, everybody?
I'm Other Mike.
So a little bit about me. I started gaming in '87 with the Rogue Trader. I currently play the Red Brigade for Trench Crusade, and I'm having a blast playing them, especially in the last campaign that we just did.
What's up, guys? I'm Eric, Ox45 on Discord and socials. I'm the core player in our group right now, having a blast at Trench Crusade. I was not even born when he started playing 40K, but I did start in fourth. Yeah, I did start in fourth ed. So I have been in the hobby for a decent amount of time, and have accrued quite a bit of wargaming collections here and there. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm the first Mike. Contactus on the Discord. I play Black Grail, not particularly well.
Facts.
As I'm sure you guys will come to find. Mike and Mike do great in battles together. I'm actually probably one of the newer guys to wargaming. I've only been in it for a handful of years. Started 40K at roughly about the beginning of 10th edition. Friend got me into it.
You poor child.
Yeah. What about you, other Mike?
I'm better, Mike. I've been wargaming for about a year. I just started my wargaming journey. I had friends in the military who were into it, and I wanted to get into it, so I just started in 10th and got my Blood Angels army up, and eventually kind of wanted to move to a game that was a little bit smaller because I really hated telling my wife, "Hey, I'm going to be gone for like 6 hours at my buddy's house," and then I fucking come back and I'd be like, "I lost." I fucking hated that. I despised it. So Trench Crusade is, skirmish game. It's a lot shorter. I feel a lot better going home after losing after like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I could do that, right? Like, yeah. Or if I absolutely body Mike in like an hour, I feel great about myself. Glory doesn't come from points. Glory comes from tabling Mike.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
Got a lot of glory, don't you?
yeah, I had a lot of glory.
You started in 10th?
Right around the beginning of 10th edition is when I got into wargaming. I've known about it for a long time. Never had the funding or the time for it. And funny story with a buddy of mine is right at the beginning of 10th, I had seen the YouTube Astartes shorts videos, and I'd actually told a buddy of mine about it. I'm like, dude, I've heard about this Warhammer thing. I've wanted to get into it for a while. I'm thinking about this, and he was immediately like, you should do it. And I was like, do you know about Warhammer? He's like, yeah, I play it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, you've never said anything. He's like, yeah, I've played since 3rd edition. I'm like, I've known you for 20 years and I've never known this.
It's funny.
Baby side of the table.
Yeah,
I actually got into Warhammer because I'm really into guns. That's what I did in the military. I was an armorer and stuff like that, and I was spending all my money on guns. So I was like, I need like a cheaper hobby, and I was so fucking wrong. I was so fucking wrong.
It's not
dude.
the right one for that.
No,
But
now I'm just perpetually stuck in this cycle.
this is not Warhammer. This is Trench
It's
Crusade.
Trench
I was
Crusade.
going to say that's what I loved about Trench Crusade. Was the first time I came out here to learn was I was looking for just a group of guys to get together and play with, because I've done a lot of tabletops in, and I wanted to learn Trench Crusade for a while. Saw it a little bit at Adepticon last year, and I had heard that they were doing it here at Spray Gunner, our local shop. And when I came out the first time and you guys were playing and invited me to join, I went home that night and I was like, man, what do I need to buy? Like, what do I got to get for all this stuff? And I mean, I'm lucky enough. I own a 3D printer already, but $100, and I had.
Yeah, you were like a madman on a mission.
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
I think $100, and like 2 days later, I had my entire warband, printed out. It's still not painted, but it was at least printed out and usable.
It's getting there.
And it was just hilarious to me because I'm like, yeah, for the cost of like 2 boxes of guys for my 40K, I'm like, I have everything.
And I love that part. We had a learners event for all of our listeners. We had a learners event back in, was it July? June or July? Did we do it?
Not long ago, about a month or two ago.
Yeah, we had a lot of new players come in, and they were interested, and they were like, "How much is it going to cost me?" I was like, "It just depends." You know what I mean? Like, it's you'll get. Well, he said for around $50, you'll get your whole army, and then people just couldn't believe that, and like that's just really cool because, like the gatekeeping of Warhammer, it's like you're not going to get an army unless you're spending like $1,000. It's insane, man. Like you got kids and stuff that you want to play.
Yeah, one of the things with me, it's like I started off with Rogue Trader and then going into 2nd edition, 3rd edition, and I felt more comfortable with the smaller skirmish-based games like Necromunda when it first came out in '95, and I went hardcore into like the more skirmish with Necromunda. Then in 2000, I believe when Mordheim came out, into Mordheim, and then I got out of the hobby for a while, and then I went to moved away and came back and got back into 9th edition 40K, and within a year I was back to playing the new version of Necromunda and started arbitrating the campaigns with that. And then a few of us got together and decided, hey, let's give Trench Crusade a shot, and now here we are.
So you've actually played OG Mordheim.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the original rule book.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Did you play with Jesus?
Occasionally. No.
That's funny. Yeah, I love Trench Crusade in general. There was a lot of draw. I liked. People say I'm weird because I got into like 10th edition and I was like, oh, I like the dark style of it and stuff like that. And people are like, it's really not that dark. And maybe it was just the way I was painting my minis because I was making them look beat up and dirty and bloody and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
It definitely has that grim dark aesthetic. And
Yeah.
it's even billed as that.
yeah, and I learned really quick that I really hated the competition style terrain. Like I had more fun when I
yeah.
would play with my buddies and we would set up random stuff on the
Yeah.
table,
And that's
and we
how it
would
used to
make our
be.
we'd
Like-
make our own random rules.
Yeah.
And then I'd
Yeah.
play TTS, and someone's like, "Actually, you can't charge me to this wall because
This
whatever,
one's
whatever."
too
You know,
thick,
like
and you have
Yeah.
to be within 1 inch, and I'm not within 1 inch, and
Yeah. I'm inside the little box, and even though there's not a wall in front of me and you can see me, you still can't shoot me.
I've had more fun making the terrain for it
hmm
to bring to the shop and seeing the looks and expressions on people's faces. Just
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and
which started with Necromunda. The place we were playing closed down. We moved over here to Spray Gunner, and they didn't really have a whole lot of terrain. So I made a huge Necromunda board. Got some other guys that chipped in and started doing boards as well. And then with Trench Crusade, the biggest obstacle was, well, nobody really had trench terrain.
hmm
So I took it upon myself and just started cranking terrain out.
And you were pretty quick with it too. You got it
Yeah,
out.
you were
Pretty
shitting them out.
fast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm limited to my time, so my off time I could knock it out. And
It's like, oh, I
You make
can't-
more time. You make the time for it though.
I
True.
make-
Like
True.
Johnny will post pictures like at 1 a.m, like throwing some dirt on the board. You know?
I know he's like, "Oh, I haven't had that much time this week. I only made like 4 square feet of board."
Sorry guys, I haven't worked on my board too much. I was only able to get the little miniature posters slapped on the trench walls. We'll post pictures of all this stuff too in the chat.
Yeah.
yeah. If you
This
guys
is
haven't,
crazy.
if you guys haven't seen Johnny's terrain, it's the Beard of Chaos, right?
yep,
Yeah.
the Beard of Chaos on Discord.
Yeah, it's pretty killer. Like, I mean, you may have seen it like already floating around, like
Mhm.
in some Trench Crusade memes and stuff like that. But it's awesome. It puts us right in the game. And that's like one of my favorite parts about Trench Crusade over like say Modern 40K is that you can build these really thematic boards
Mhm.
and you're like interacting with the terrain
Mhm.
as you play instead of just these, as the modern state of 40K terrain is like
L-shaped cardboard.
L-shaped box and like
And even then, there's people that'll argue that, oh, there's other rules for other things, and I agree that there is, but it's still everybody wants to do tournament style.
Yeah.
And I much more prefer, doing, asymmetrical boards.
Yes.
It's just so much more fun to say, okay, well, other games have an attacker and a defender, and it's
Mhm.
like you can literally set stuff up like half the scenarios are even set up of,
Right.
hey, your goal is
Yeah.
to do one thing and your goal is to do the opposite.
Yep.
Versus, okay, you both have the same goal and have, identical mirrored, terrain for everything.
Yeah, I was telling a buddy about the types of stuff you could do with the terrain, just like all the different actions. I told him, I was playing a game with one of the Trench Broken players, and he was all the way at the top of like a 7-inch tower, and I puppet mastered him off, and he had blood markers, and I
You
used
dick.
it to kill
Well,
him.
it's
Yeah,
classic.
classic puppet master move. And my buddy was like, "Wait, how was he 7 inches up on the board?" And I was like, "Well, you could do that. It's not 40K where there's no advantage to being up high. It's like he was up there for a reason, and I had a cool ability that made him jump off and kill himself. You know what I mean? So that type of stuff is what I love. That I have so much more fun playing on fun terrain. Like the game is designed so well to play around it too. And there's like concrete rules. So you were saying that, yeah, there's like solidified rules. I've never played solidified rules of 40K with anybody. Everyone always has some rules.
Yeah,
Like, wait,
they-
I thought it was
They've
this.
always got their house rule.
Yeah, dude, there's always some. But with us, I think it's pretty good. We're pretty good about it. Like as a group, we kind of set some things in stone. Like I don't know how other people do it. We have that rule with line of sight where it's like you're not going to shoot a plume of a helmet that's sticking up 0.1 millimeter
Yeah,
above
the
the
general
border.
idea with like 40K, it's one of the things I can't stand the most is like, oh, well, I have a tank, but its barrel's sticking out around this corner, and
Yeah.
technically that barrel can see the tip of your
Yeah.
finger, so I can actually shoot you, and we just don't do that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's official in the TC rules, but I know that pretty much anybody I've ever played.
It almost leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
It does.
Yeah.
When people
Yeah.
do that.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, at least with like some other games where it's based on your base to my base, something like that. At least that makes a little bit more sense.
Mhm.
But we've always pretty much played it with Trench Crusade, where like we'll get down there and look from my guy to your guy, and it's like I can see the tip of your helmet, but like I can't see
Like your body,
I
your
can't
head,
see your body or your
The
head.
center mass
Yeah,
or the
like,
base.
if
or
I
like
yeah,
an arm or something. Even
Yeah.
if it's like a full arm, I'll probably take it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but if it's just like your weapon sticking out or it's
Yeah.
just a piece of you, like I can't see the core of your body, I'm like, yeah, I don't have it.
yeah.
I've had a lot more, especially. I mean, I mostly just play with you guys, but pretty much everybody's always just been like, "Yeah, I either don't got it or I got it." Like, there's very little times where it's been like, "I think I think I got it," but you don't think I got it.
Technically.
Yeah, it's-
like,
Well, actually,
no, it's cool because like people. I mean, that's another thing. It's like the general attitude going in this game I found is a lot less sweaty than some other
Mhm.
environment more
says the
competitive
court
war
player.
games or anything. Says the what?
Says
the core player? Oh, I'm not even.
No, you're not.
I'm not
just
even
fucking
close
with
to
you.
being
I'm just
the most
salty.
cracked faction right now.
Eric is like the only dude who's beat me every time we fucking played, so I'm gonna be salty.
Yeah, we gotta keep that going.
Keep it going.
But like, yeah, like I was saying, the general attitude has been not so, hard on the rules, and it's like if there's a disagreement, just talk it out or just roll for it. It's really more relaxed. It's more about the narrative,
Yeah.
and creating like just a fun and wacky situation,
Mhm.
like, and less like just I'm playing WTC rules, comp.
Yeah, I hate
comp.
it. I hate it so much, dude. It's just so like, where's the fun? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do agree that the scenarios that we've kind of put ourselves into, like the narrative, like you were talking about, that stuff is cool. We'll get into our campaign and stuff like that. And the way that I lost the last game of the campaign really made me.
Oh
bleed,
yeah, we will.
dude.
That it was pretty. That was pretty epic. I know.
It was
I don't even use that word that often, but
I've never been upset that a model was
It was
too
thematic
good.
too.
Dude,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like. We'll probably get into it a little bit
Yeah, we'll
later,
talk
but
about
like it was, it came out of like the gameplay mechanics of the campaign.
Yeah.
And it just felt like kind of this very thematic payoff.
Mhm.
And yeah, when we talk about our campaign, we will get into that.
So we'll go on to the next topic. Our warbands and their lore. We all have a warband that we pick for the campaign,
do.
and we all
do.
obviously Mike has two. We'll go over what our vision was for the warband and their background, and
So
wanna
I
start with
play Red Brigade, and I named my warband the Red Vultures, and the little bit of fluff or lore behind them was pretty much true to their original backstory from Tumas in Westphalia, where they're just behind enemy lines for extended length of time, scavenging what they can. They're haggard and war weary from it. But I did end up not once but twice making somebody start fresh. So
hey, I loosened them up for you.
yeah, well, soften the first target.
Eric, are you good? Sorry, John.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll
Okay.
pass the torch to Eric.
Yeah, so I was running an Envy court. I tried a few variants of the court, the sins. I tried like Pride and Greed. Gameplay wise, I just found Envy the most, I guess, enriching. You could do a lot of like little movement tricks, which I thought were very fun. I love the stealing items mechanic that certain factions have in this game. I think it just opens up a lot of play. It's also just very thematic for Envy to be like stealing
Let me
other
get
people's
that.
stuff. Yeah, like let me grab that.
Get a piece of that.
And yeah, my actual warband's lore is that they're kind of like the repo men of hell, and that they're like sent out from hell to like go reclaim what is the Lord of Envy, like what the Lord of Envy considers his, and because he's Lord of Envy, everything is his. He believes that everything should rightfully be his. So they're sent out. They're like they represent his grasping hand, and each the warband is led by the 5 strongest demons, and each one represents a finger. And I had a lot of fun like coming up with names and like which demon represented which finger, like and what each finger did and all that stuff. So it was like a lot of fun to write out that lore and like also promote the demons within my warband as the campaign went on.
Good. First, Mike.
Yeah, better Mike. Me. So my warband was a heretic legion that I called the Disciples of the Broken Faith. When I was reading the heretic legion lore, it made it sound like they were just kind of killing everybody that they came across, and I started thinking, how do they get people? Where do like all the heretic troopers and stuff come from if everyone's just getting slaughtered and everybody's dying? So in my head, I was like, okay, so these guys are just going to capture people and they're going to torture them, and the warband is going to be made of people who have lost their faith in God, like bad things have happened to them and they kind of blame God for not helping them, so they turn to hell's side to kind of get back at him for not being there for them and that kind of stuff. And then they torture other people to convince them of the same thing, essentially. So they torture them, and they're only allowed to basically join the Legion and stuff like that once they like fully renounce God, essentially. So they'll torture like a trench pilgrim or a yeoman or something like that endlessly until they finally give up and they say like he's not here anymore.
You had an MVP in the campaign, didn't you?
A what?
An MVP, most valuable player.
Oh yeah, my MVP of my warband that everybody hated. It was my werewolf Sprinkles. I only named her. That's like the only silly name I have in the warband. And it's a firm belief that I have that, the cuter you name something, the more like vile and violent it is. That's like what happens with pit bulls. If you name a pit bull Cupcake, it's gonna kill. It's gonna kill a toddler.
Yeah, Princess is gonna ball some people.
Absolutely, 100%. But you get like I had a buddy who he named his pit bull Lucifer, and it was the sweetest pit bull I've ever met in my entire life. So, that was kind of the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, and Sprinkles caused a lot of upset people in the campaign, not me personally. Actually, Sprinkles came in through for me in the last game, but
yeah,
Sprinkles
and
caused much gnashing of teeth.
She had a lot of good luck too with just everything in general. Not like the attacks, because the attacks, they're just built out to be good in general. But when we were rolling for skills and stuff like that, I was kind of promotions. I was kind of pessimistic, like I'm probably not going to get any promotions or whatever, right? And I rolled 1 dice for Sprinkles and it landed on a 6, like game 2.
Oh, yeah.
So Sprinkles became an elite like game 2 or game 3 or something. I think it was game 2.
What did you get on Sprinkles? What skills did you get?
I ended up getting, oh, you know what, dude? It deleted because the Trench Companion like updated.
Right.
Oh,
but
no.
it was parry.
Okay.
It was parry, and it was, oh man, it's gonna kill me. I think it was parry, and then she got like a +1 dice or something. I think that might have been the only skill. Oh no, it was only 2. It was the parry, okay. And it was an extra dice in exploration. That I think
okay.
It was just like the better.
Yeah.
It was just like the better skill that I got out of the 2 choices.
With my warband, the bane of everybody else was the sniper priest with the range proficiency skill.
Mm-hmm.
So he was going to hit
almost every shot, and he was probably going to crit.
Yeah, I think I was able to crit during the course of the campaign maybe twice.
That's crazy. He was rolling 8 dice every time he shot.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I hated Johnny Sniper Priest. Anytime I thought I was going to play Johnny, I would be like, all right, what's the first move is going to be taking out the priest. And that game that we did play, game 2, I think that was like the first thing I did. I got the priest blown off. That sounded a little. Anyway, going over to Mike.
You want to talk about the campaign being hard for you, huh? Oh, so hard. Mr. Tabling Mike on the first game.
Very.
You wanna tell us your
special warband?
I tabled you on the 3rd game.
I got tabled in. No, I didn't get tabled in every single game in the campaign. But
you had like a dude left when we played the second time. 1 dude left.
Yeah, because you couldn't kill the amalgam. Actually, you didn't even try to.
No, the amalgam. I was like, that motherfucker's not gonna die. I'm just gonna keep him alive.
You didn't even bother. I'm just like, why don't you just shoot it? Just kill him. I'm like, I don't have anybody else. Just go ahead and kill him. You're like, I don't even want to bother.
So what was your lore?
What was your warband's lore? Both of them.
The lore was that they weren't very good.
Wait, is that actually what you started out with?
No, that wasn't what I started with.
It was something plague table, wasn't it?
So yeah, I had Knights of the Plague Table, and I hadn't really kind of come up with much lore for it. Is kind of a bad alignment of things. Was I had kind of wanted to try out. I had been running the Grail with the Tumor Lord and the Amalgam, just in our pickup games, and they were tons of fun. But in a 700 ducat game, they feel very overpowered. So I wanted to try the other set of rules where you could run 3 Plague Knights, and one of them was the leader instead of doing the Amalgam and Tumor Lord. And I was like, oh well, let me just build a list for this, and I'll play that and try that out before we start the campaign. And just things didn't align, and there was like 3 weeks or so before the campaign started where I had this list where I wanted to try the 3 Knights. And I just never got a game in to really try it out and play it until we started the campaign. And I was like, well, I already have these guys. I might as well paint them up and use these for the campaign. And then the very first game, I was like, yeah, starting with 3 Knights is not ideal. If I was to redo it, I would have. If I had played 1 game with them before we'd started the campaign, I would have retooled that list because the list was not particularly good, which was my own fault. And then,
Well, I think it was week 3 is when I think I played you. And
Yeah.
I just had that lucky roll with that combat engineer throwing the
satchel-
satchel
well,
charge.
it was a bit of a lucky
So
roll.
funny when I remember
There
that.
was also a problem because of how poorly game 1 went. Because I had 3 Knights. I think I had 4 elites in the first game, and all of them had wounds. On top of which, my leader died in the very first game, and by died I mean he rolled an 11. And was dead. And we had our own in-house rules for the campaign where you got 1 campaign reroll. And I used that incorrectly. Later on, I found out was that I should have re-rolled the entire roll. I re-rolled 1 of the dice. So when I rolled an 11, on my D66, instead of being smart and re-rolling the 10s dice, I just re-rolled the 1s dice like an idiot. So I went from an 11 to a 12, I think it was, and then I got ransomed.
Yeah, we were talking earlier. We were telling them a little bit about Sprinkles earlier and why she was so hated.
Yeah.
The hate immediately started game 1, turn 1.
Yeah, game 1, turn 1, in like the second activation, Sprinkles deploys in my back end and immediately kills my leader, and then proceeds to take out, in the next turn, took out my
She
corpse
just wanted to
guard.
play.
Just wanted to play.
Yeah, and then so basically just after my leader was taken out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, my leader was taken out, and then I deployed another knight over there who then failed to do his charge and didn't make it, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to be able to do anything because he's going to turn around and kill that knight, and then I'm going to have nothing that will be able to take out the wolf. So just slowly got taken out for the rest of the game, and then had so many wounds on everybody that the next game I was in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, this is the problem with campaign, right? Because he got his shit pushed in,
Oh,
and you
heavily.
refused to reinforce, which I
Well,
thought was hilarious.
Yeah,
Well-
Mike got it absolute. I feel like I know you were joking about it. Like, I'm gonna challenge myself, but
Well, part of it, yes, part of it was let me challenge. I'm like, it was partially because it was funny to be the severe underdog, but at the same time, I was like, the whole benefit is I have 4 elites to start with. Everybody else, like in your normal list, you've got like 1, maybe 2 elites in your first game.
I think I had 3.
Yeah, so that's the thing
Starting.
is like in each game they're getting experience. So I'm like, theoretically, I should get skills and benefits that will that'll help me. The problem was that I did get skills and benefits. They weren't nearly as good as the severe nerve damage, the
possession, I
the
think.
possession. The
Yeah.
possession, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of funny, despite the
Yeah.
fact that it was miserable. Every time that one of my second best Plague Knight, every time he activated, had to advance at least
Dash,
2 or dash, 2 or 3 inches. So basically, just he had a 50-50 chance of just not doing anything.
yeah, I walked out of that first game like loaded, and it was
Oh,
because
yeah.
we had loot boxes, and
And we even played it wrong. Was you didn't even want to. You were trying to be nice, and I'm like you're ransoming him. Just
Yeah.
and you're like, well, I need this much. I'm like, just ransom everything. Just take it. Just take the glory, take the gold, take everything.
Yeah. So the game had loot boxes, and if I don't think did you say it was Fog of War?
No.
Okay, so the only reason Sprinkles deployed in his deployment zone is because it was Fog of War. So you had to roll to see what side of the table that model was going to deploy on, and you had to do that for half your warband. I chose Sprinkles next. I wanted to get her on the board early. Rolled a 6, so you could choose what side. So I chose deployment, and then it was too good to be true.
Oh, it was terrible.
I felt bad towards the end because no, you did.
Laughing and smiling the whole time.
I felt bad towards the end because there's all these loot boxes on the board as part of the scenario, and Mike was just looting them, and he was on the other side of the board. I was close to a bunch of loot boxes, and I kind of ignored the loot boxes.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you doing? Just get the loot boxes right there." I was like, "No."
No. And at the end, I think my last one. I think I had a herald.
Yeah.
That was the last, and it was a herald with like a musket. Just
yeah, it was not a threat, but
no, yeah, and I was basically just trying to hide.
You know what? If the rolls are good enough and lucky enough, a lonely yeoman with a bolt action can take out a praetor.
Yeah, well, that's
true.
one of the things I love about Trench Crusade is that is possible, and I tried. The herald was going along, and of course, because of the way we were doing loot boxes, there was a small chance that you got the loot box and it exploded. And we were joking every time I would roll for a loot box. I'm like, this is the one that's going to blow up and take me out of the game. But it didn't. Eventually, I did actually get the 6th blood marker on the wolf, and I shot a musket at long range, praying, and failed. Didn't do anything. And then I don't remember how you killed him.
You did roll an uncanny amount of ones, though.
Yeah, especially in our game.
So, what were your guys' favorite? You had to pick one moment. What was your favorite from the campaign? One like interaction, one something. What was your favorite part?
I mean, my favorite part was probably just the joke of Sprinkles rolled a 6 and came in my ass.
Wow.
Yeah, Sprinkles tore that ass up. That was really bad. Dude, I felt, it sucks because whenever you play any game, when you're doing really, really good, you're like happy for yourself, but you as a good sportsman, you have to be like,
you're like smiling,
reserved.
you're like, oh, that's so bad.
Reserved.
You can't be like, in your face.
Yeah, if you're a dick, you'll be like, yeah, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like
I know when I used to play Warhammer 40K, especially in 6th edition, back when they were doing the Ard Boys tournaments. Like, I just got so burnt out on the competitive play that I ended up doing nothing with the hobby for years and getting back into it. At the start of the pandemic, it was eye-opening. Especially now, when I go to play, as long as I have fun, my opponent has fun. That's a win for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be competitive. I just want to have fun. I like the thematic storytelling, especially in a campaign setting, whether it be Necromunda, Mordheim, or Trench Crusade. As long as the thematic is there, it's great because you can do different stuff that in larger war games you're not going to be able to do, like doing a diving charge off a trench,
off the top ropes,
or or off of a tower, charging or falling off and killing somebing.
I've been waiting for someone to do that. I've been waiting for someone to fail a diving charge off of a tower. Fail.
Where you just
I've been waiting for someone to do that.
It's funny, apparently it happens a lot. When you read the battle port reports, people are always killing themselves doing diving charges.
Yeah, I know one of the trench building players tried to jump from one point to another. I had my mountainy terrain. He tried to jump, and it was like his captain, and he had already been tuffed.
And
then he jumped. He failed the jump. And then he had 3 blood markers. I was like, yeah, spin them. Then he died like that. I was like, dude tripped and fell down this crevice and died. That's stuff that I like. But what was your favorite moment for you, John?
Probably was it the second week. So the second scenario, I was playing you, and it was the total clusterfuck in the center of the board, trying to get this chest, not really a magical chest, but it was just like a
it's like a relic.
It was like a holy relic. that we had in the center of the board, and you had to drag it back off the board from your own deployment. And of course, Mike, being the douche he is, had the damn Sprinkles the Warwolf in the middle, and it was just a grueling meat grinder of a war of attrition in the center of that board.
It was 5 turns of Sprinkles in the middle, and then Red Brigade soldiers coming up to Sprinkles, and then they would die. And then Sprinkles was in the center of the board the entire game. She didn't die, but it was just smacking like.
I did
Red Brigade
tougher
away.
once.
You did tougher, yeah. I think the your communicant.
Yeah, I had the
Crimson
Crimson
Communicant.
Communicant at that
Yeah,
point.
that thing
I
was
got
pretty
him. I didn't start the campaign with him just because I wanted, from arbitrating Necromunda campaigns, bodies mattered.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and opted not to get the Communicant at the start and got Big Red in game 2, or going into game 2 is when I got him.
Yeah, that was a fun game. Johnny had his trench dog grab the relic, and then I immediately threw Sprinkles at that tiny little dog, and then clapped it. And then, lucky enough, I rolled a 6 on the. Whenever you kill the model that holds the relic, the relic gets thrown 1d6 away. I got a 6, and then I just threw it into my side of the board, and then. It wasn't super easy to get it off the board. You almost got me. I had an anointed who had the relic and was literally like 3 inches away from the board edge, which is where we needed to be to walk it off. It was round 4. At the end of round 4, he had his lieutenant right behind that anointed, but he failed a dash. And he could see him to shoot him. He just failed his dash. And in the scenario, if you go into round 5, you have to roll a 4-up to see if the game goes another round.
I think you
rolled
rolled
a 4-up. It was a 5, and then I was like, all right, turn 1. I'm walking off with the relic. You know what I mean? So that was not by any means an easy win. That was like, I got pretty fucking lucky, and I made it out of there by the skin of my teeth. I was just lucky that I didn't lose any of my dudes or anything.
Yeah.
So the next game I do play with you, I got an answer for Sprinkles.
Oh yeah.
I got Admiral Ferdinand, the war wiener.
Well,
War
I
Wiener.
actually
Destroyer of worlds.
I actually have something for you guys, and I totally forgot to bring it. But Mike's gonna get mad at me because I forgot to bring it. But
I'm just surprised that you're announcing it here.
yeah.
Congrats on your engagement.
You guys are all hooting hollering about this little wiener dog, but do you have a lacerator assault llama?
Oh, is that a war llama? Oh my!
This was a kit bash that you had talked about.
Me
Weeks
and
ago.
Mike joked about
Nice.
it because one of the loving employees at Spray Gunner had printed out the pack llama from Westphalia, and I was like, dude, we should throw a werewolf head on it. And then I was like,
And
it'd be funny if it was just pointed straight up.
No, I was like, it was the meme of like, oh, does a snake wear pants like this or like this? And I was like, well, I'm like, so would the helmet be? He's like, no, it'd be way funnier if it's just
straight up.
He's like, it's just straight up like a party hat.
Mike even you can't if you didn't zoom in, Mike even put like the plate armor.
Oh yeah, like I
stuff like that.
We'll
spent
post these
entirely
pictures.
Yeah, I'm gonna post the pictures and we'll put it on the YouTube video and stuff like that. But I had a great time painting it. It's really hard painting something when you're fucking cackling so hard.
Yeah, that's one of the things I kept joking with. It took me so long to actually kit bash it was because I kept giggling the entire time because I'm up in Blender with the werewolf and this llama, and I just chopped off the llama's head and literally just chopped off the giant armored maw and just was like and just stuck it on there.
Just gonna railroad us and try to put us back on topic a little bit. Eric, what do you think your favorite? Of the campaign?
Favorite moment of the campaign? There was a lot that I really thought were like pretty cinematic moments. Honestly, my personal favorite is got to be the game-winning turn of our last game of the campaign.
I was gonna say I think
Yeah.
that's my favorite too because it's just so like I don't know, like poetic.
Yeah.
So me and Eric played our last game. We had both been doing pretty good over the campaign. Our first couple, dude, that whole game was pretty crazy. Eric's Desecrated Saint went down like turn 1.
Yeah, it was, and that thing.
It was a bloodbath.
Yeah,
like,
people So in our campaign, I know people don't super like the Saint like in their games, but it was doing work for me. It had gotten to champion. He was blending stuff, but his AMR took it out T1 of the last game, so I was like sweating because like the last mission was like basically a boss fight. It was kind of like the Dragon Hunt.
Yeah.
There was just a big thing in the middle, and the objective was to take it out before it takes you out. And my whole strategy was just put the Malebranch on the champion Saint, get a ton of attacks with it, and just jump in there and kill it before anybody else could. Well, Mike put a damper on that. He AMR'd it like T1 because you can't hide that thing. It's just just impossible. I really tried, but it went down. I was like sweating. But
oh no, it was the Chorister. So the AMR toughed it first shot.
That's right. Yeah,
yeah.
You blasted down.
You meleeed it with a Chorister?
The Chorister
my
literally
Chorister
just walked up and just shanked it. And
that's Koraya Mary.
Like,
yeah, I named her
right.
Koraya Mary.
Yeah, I had to take a moment. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I
literally this little model.
It's just like
he just shanked the Desecrated Saint, which had been blending people the whole game or the whole campaign.
That was the best luck I had that whole game though. The rest of it was kind of wishy-washy. Like we were just going back and forth trading.
Yeah,
and then
the actual moment though is so the Saint, not the Desecrated Saint, but like the big raid boss basically came out, and it had 3 stacks of tough. So we had to kill it 4 times basically, and well, it just we were fighting it. It was it was having kind of this epic showdown with this priest in the middle. I burned 1 tough stack off of it, and then lo and behold, Sprinkles comes in.
That little bitch betrayed
from
me.
the table side.
Dude,
just was such a good girl. Came right in, burned 2 tough stacks off the Saint, and then my Praetor was just and my Praetor was just like okay, and then so he flew in and I was actually sweating a little bit because my Praetor had just taken muscle damage in the last game, and that was like the one injury I did not want to roll because I mean he had the Malebranch and the Serpent Assault Gun, both heavy weapons, both were like kind of the linchpins of my army. So I was like, oh my god, please don't roll muscle damage. And actually, I got the first injury I rolled was like nerve damage or something, like to make everything risky.
Everything is risky.
And I was like, oh, that's terrible. I'll just re-roll it. I used my campaign
damage.
re-roll. Boom. Right there, and I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, I should have just kept the nerve damage." But
I should have used my campaign reroll when I got like a leg wound on my priest, because he just became not useless, but he was like he's just like a melee or ranged unit now.
Well, then you used him all the time because you'd puppet master himself.
Yeah, he'd have to puppet master himself with a blasphemous staff just to get a dash off. And that's how I would dash. I would like puppet master myself with 3 dice, maybe get like an inch or 2, or if I got a good roll, I'd get like a 6, and then I would try to dash. But his dash was at a -1 because of his leg wound, and he could only move 4 inches. But yeah, going back to that last moment of the campaign, that's my favorite. That's my favorite moment too, because I feel like Sprinkles was the bane of like everyone's existence. Whenever we played, everyone always complained because Sprinkles was a destroying number. She was always in the right place at the right time, and she had a good skill. She had like the parry skill, so you're at -1 die for attack. And then the injuries that I got on her weren't even that bad. She only had Insomniac, so I had to deploy her first, which honestly isn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
I would just put her wherever I thought I was going to put her anyway. And then the other one ended up being it was like a facial scar, so she hated trench pilgrims because I lost the game.
So it's a good one.
It was a good one. So it was like another
Yeah.
skill, and if I played trench pilgrim player, then I'd get like a +1 dice to my melee. And every time I'd say anything about that, everyone was like, I fucking hate that thing. I hate that thing.
This campaign, it was a kind of a medium campaign because
Yeah,
it
we
only
did like
went
a
6
truncated
weeks
one.
instead of the normal 8 that you. I
Yeah,
guess
I think
would
a full
generally
campaign is
do.
12.
Yeah,
Something
8
like
to
that,
12.
I just wanted to finish what I was saying about the whole Sprinkles thing, is that it was the bane of the whole campaign, and at the end, she was too fucking good. Because she fucking clapped this raid boss in 2 attacks, and I knew I knew the second attack burnt a tough, I was like, this is bad. This game just ended because this model was too good and did too good of a fucking job.
So what actually happened was, I've been keeping the activations of my Praetor like in the back. So, as soon as I saw that happen, I was like, oh man, he's going in. He has Hellblade. I was like, oh, I don't know if he has it. He's not holding his best stuff. And then he came in, and just bloodbath and boom.
The Saint had like 4 fucking blood markers because I hit it and it went down, and then I double downed it or whatever the fuck. So it had like 4 blood markers. That's why I was like, there's no way he doesn't kill this thing next turn. But I thought it was fun. It was cool to see like Sprinkles and the Praetor fucking up the same big model because it was a huge model.
It was cool to just have like a monster mash in the middle. And
I don't care.
Big models.
That was super fun. Koriya Mary killed a Desecrated Saint by shanking it.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying, Johnny, I think I know where you're going. It was a short campaign. It was only 6 games, but I think what made this campaign kind of special or unique is that the ducat values and the glory values were kind of bumped up in order for everybody to kind of get a feel for the different parts of the army. You can have more glory, so you can try stuff out. Yeah, unless you're Mike, and then you couldn't try anything.
One-off games are cool, but the game really shines in campaign play.
There's so many aspects that revolve around the campaign, like with the skills and the exploration and stuff like that.
That's kind of what I love is like it removes some of like if you go in on a one-off game, you have this like curated list. It's so easy to just pull a net list off. And
exactly. People ask for that all the time. Like, I need a 900.8 glory list.
What's the most efficient way? But in campaign, you can't really do that. Like you can try. I know some people try to game the stuff, but like there's a level of unpredictability built into the campaign that makes it so you can't. You might not get Gunslinger on your priest or whatever. You might not, or like, if you're playing just normal new anti-tech, or you might not get that skill.
You might get muscle damage on a Praetor.
Yeah, you might get muscle damage on your Praetor, and you just got to roll with it. And I think that's awesome because you can't just like, take some like pre-written thing and just like roll with it because you have to go with what happens in the campaign.
You might do that game 1 and you might drive it pretty well, but then you get injuries. Or you know what I mean? You get injuries that totally fuck you up. Like my priest, I had to completely rewrite how I was using my priest because he was range and he was melee. I could trust him for both. The second he could only move 4 feet and then he was -1 dash, I was like, you get a gun. You know what I mean? You have nothing else. Honestly, you have a gun. I'll give you a trench club, but
honestly, it ended up being kind of fun to like. Once when my Praetor got muscle damage, I had to like basically move everything in my list around. Like,
of course.
I had to change, I had to go kind of more wide instead of tall because I had to put all these like really strong weapons around. But like at that point, I had been doing really well in the campaign, so like it just ended up to where I had to just change my forces, and it was like a cool brain exercise to like see what I could do with what I had left.
What was your standings for the campaign? Like how many games? What was your win-loss?
Oh, it ended up being 6-0. Yeah, so I was like, I did get a bye because somebody dropped.
Yeah, somebody dropped, but whatever. They forfeited.
I didn't. I did run away from our.
What
game.
were you just calling yourself the bye?
I ran away from our game because at the end, we were game 4, I think, and
no, we played it out. Yeah,
we did. Yeah, we did for the most part. But yeah, towards the end, I was like, so. Well, for one, the one we were on, that was a slog. I think we were like 4 hours in, and we were still on the end.
Oh, it was like they had. I think they ran through 2 games or so. Or I can't even remember.
But because I know with ours, I was like, hey, like we've been here, like the stores get, they're trying to close up, and like you've obviously got it. I'm like, so you want to just like play out the rest of this so that you can get all your glory and all your points and everything? Because I'm like, I just don't want to take any more wounds.
It was that was Court versus Grail, which is just a slog.
That was also the one where it was like you had to roll, and there was like Ichor fall every round, and
there was a lot of conditionals.
Everything kept blowing up. Everything was giving us blood markers
just because of the nature of the custom mission. It was just taking a long time.
It was fun, but it was definitely a slog.
And that brings up a house rule that we kind of did. So there's no actual concede mechanic in the game. And that kind of brings up a house rule that I think a lot of people online have been doing. And personally our group was kind of doing as well, is that if you were getting thrashed, you could choose to fall back at your first morale test, which I believe is an old Mordheim rule.
I believe. Yeah, I think there was a mechanic in the original Mordheim where you can basically concede in the winner.
Yeah.
Your opponent takes the victory.
You know,
But
but
the same thing in Necromunda. You can do it
okay,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So you don't want to like. It's kind of a balancing act, right? Because if you're getting thrashed, like you don't want to be a poor sport, like because if you're legitimately playing well, like that's your chance to get more glory.
Yeah.
That's your chance to get more VP, which does matter in a campaign. But also, it's not fun to just punch someone who is just getting completely.
Yeah.
I disagree.
See,
But
see, Johnny and Mike, you hear what he just said there? It's not fun to punch the cripple when he's down.
So I think like me when I was in the campaign, I went 5-1. I only lost one game, and that was to
me.
you.
Oh, nice.
So, what was your record?
I went 4-2. I lost against the Saint Methodius Trench program player. I don't know if we're saying name. He knows who he is. He's probably gonna listen to
The
this.
Iron Inquest are Barry are
Oh,
our saint.
His social
his
is...
name rhymes with Barry.
Yeah.
No, I lost against Barry, dude. I dropped 7 out of 8 Artie Witch shots, and I don't mean they missed and like only got like 2d6 to hit. I mean they fucking
Just
out of left field,
completely whipped.
totally fucking missed out of that, dude. That lost me the game, and then he
That same night, Shay, I was playing Shay, and
Yeah.
he had 2 witches on the board and couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
yeah, dude. I don't know what it was.
Just bad.
Maybe it
rolls
wasn't a
after
full
bad
moon or
rolls.
some
The
shit.
wind,
I don't know
man.
what the
It was
fuck
the
was going
wind.
on. But yeah, and then he definitely got me with some good plays. I had like 3 good models kind of lined up pretty close together, and he killed an AMR anointed and my priest in like 1 volley of fire, and that hurt. And then he had a Scripture Guardian, which I hadn't played before yet, and I'd always heard they're kind of bad, so I kind of ignored it a little bit, and I learned really quick that they're not fucking bad.
Oh yeah, Scripture Guardian.
No, they're a beast.
Me and
I
Eric
went
both
to-
brought one our
Yeah.
last game.
Yeah, we're doing work. No, I think they both did work. One pulled
Yeah.
a wound off the
Mhm.
the raid boss or whatever.
Yeah. So, and then my other game was Eric losing that because of sprinkles. But I had so much fun that both of those games, especially the last game, just seeing those models like the course are
Yeah, it's
insane.
and,
It's
you know,
crazy shit.
I think we all had painted forces.
Mhm.
We had like thematic terrain. We can upload the pictures to Discord.
Yeah, we'll upload all the pictures and stuff. The campaign.
I think we're gonna actually release, if for those that are interested in it, and I got permission from Spencer, who actually ran the campaign. We're gonna release like a campaign pack, which will have all the scenarios and kind of backstory.
Mhm.
If people are interested, then it'll be free for download.
And it is a really fun like first campaign because you get to try out all this stuff. I know, like I was talking to some of the people on the Trench Crusade Discord about it, and they were saying, "How the fuck did you get 9 glory like your first game?" And I was like, "It's just the way that it was set up." And they're like, "That's way too much." I was like, "Well, I mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of
but
fun because
yeah.
we want to try out. You want to try out all the stuff in your warband. You know, you get 6 games,
and it wasn't guaranteed.
Yeah, and it wasn't
was
guaranteed. You
just-
actually have to win.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely a good introductory campaign, especially for some of the newer players that haven't really played any. I think this was Barry. It was actually his first miniatures game.
Yeah, and he did
But
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was he was making me sweat. He gave me the hardest game. I feel like tactically, just like
Oh, Barry's smart. Barry
Yeah.
knows how to play. I know he plays TTS a lot and stuff like that too. So
Which I've never actually played.
a lot of people have it. It's fun. It's a good tool, but I'd rather roll dice on a table
Yeah, oh, yeah,
all
100%.
day. dude.
Definitely.
it's all
All
about
day.
in person.
Yeah. So I thought it was a good campaign. It's the first campaign I've ever done for anything, and having that like continuity of stuff and
Yeah.
like naming your characters and watching them get hurt and stuff like that. It's so much fun, dude. And I've never had that before. It was such a cool experience. And then I'm really looking forward to like the stuff that we're gonna do next time. I know me and Eric, we're already like shooting off ideas. We're not gonna plan anything for a while. We're all kind of taking a little bit break after the
Yeah,
campaign.
Definitely need a little break. And
Just-
also originally I was like, oh, let's just maybe we start up when the book comes out. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, we just got the
Got
news
delayed.
yesterday that the book has been delayed.
That's true.
October, November.
Yeah, I think then that's their conservative estimate. October, November. All very sad to hear that.
I mean, I'd
but
rather them take their time with it and get it right the first time
Yeah.
definitely.
than to rush it and then
Yeah.
there'd be a bloat of FAQs, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's
I
all
mean,
forward.
you don't want to be unprofessional and put out an expensive rules book that before it even gets delivered they have to update.
Right.
Who does that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
Do
sure
you know
some
anyone
guy
that
named
does it?
James.
I'm sure it's happened sometime somewhere.
But
I
No.
think I bought a book one time, and then like there was a bunch of shit in the back, and like none of it mattered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
kind of was a big.
It's really it's kind of a modern problem with certain rule books where you buy it and it's already invalidated, which is really disheartening. But yeah, no, I mean, I think everybody understands that things happen, and we would rather have a good quality product that isn't rushed. So it is what it is.
It's kind of like us making this podcast. I think we were really excited to do it, and we've just been talking about it for weeks. And it's like, let's really think about what we're going to talk about. Let's really like.
And yet it
Put
still turned
thought
out
into
to be
it.
us just sitting here rambling.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly.
no,
But you guys have anything else on the campaign that you want to kind of touch on?
No, not really the campaign per se.
But what do you think you'd want to see in the next campaign? Like, if we could do something better, like I want to do more custom scenarios. One thing I didn't like was it did make the game more dynamic, but there were so many like effects going on. Like if you're around this crate,
I really liked that, but I think I know on like half of the games that I played, either like at the end or halfway through, we were like, "Oh crap, we completely forgot about this mechanic."
Yeah, because there was so many
things.
There were a lot of
Which,
mechanics.
Not that they were bad. It was just I think that we all could have done a little better on reading the rules. I think by the end, because I know like by the time for the sixth one with the Desecrated Saint, I know literally like as soon as that was released, we were all like, "Oh god, this is gonna be terrible." Oh, and he's got 3 toughs and. Oh man, and he activates every activation he gets to go, So by then we kind of figured it out.
Because I played Barry with the St. Methodist, his St. Methodist list, the final game against that, the corrupted saint or whatever you want to call it,
Corrupted Ozzy.
Yeah, and it went round and round. His plan backfired because he tried to get one of his. The nun, the stigmatic nun, over to closer to my side because the monster, whatever the creature, went towards whoever was closest. So, which if he would have gone and killed his nun, it would have gone slammed right into mine. I ended up killing the nun. Therefore, when the monster popped out, he was therefore the closest. So his plan backfired, and it went into him and just decimated his ranks.
Yeah, that didn't really. I
ended up killing it at the end of turn 2.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. Was I ended up because of work and other things, I didn't make it into the final round. But I remember everybody being like, "Oh, this thing's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be so hard." And even Spencer was like, "Yeah, if you kill it, then I didn't."
I think
do it
he
wrong.
originally, when he wrote it out, had it as a end boss, and it was going to be a multiplayer game.
Yeah, but even then, he was even saying that like he wants it to be like super hard for you to be able to take it out.
Well, it should
but
be.
Then I
too.
think, because I know you said you took it out at the end of round 2, and didn't you guys kill
We
it?
did it at the end of round 2.
Yeah, it was round 2.
But we were throwing everything. Once it was on the board, it was getting slapped, dude.
Yeah.
Like we almost ignored each other. I could barely see him from my side of the board.
Mhm.
The
'cause of
same thing
layout,
with
so-
when I played Barry. I just pretty much he ignored me, I ignored him, and we were
just
trading
we're
shots
slapping
on
this thing.
How did you
Dude.
kill it? What was your killing blow?
It's a yeoman with a bolt action.
Oh,
No, I would have been funny as
Fucking
hell.
sick.
It was the sniper priest.
Oh, okay.
No, I had a sniper rifle on the trench cleric,
Mm.
and the trench cleric jumped up onto the top of the trench. It was like my last activation, and it was just a
nice.
lucky shot. He's +1 dice to hit him, and I used bloodbath on him because he had 6 blood markers stacked up
nice.
on him, and ended up taking him out. And that was the last,
Hell yeah.
his last tough gone, and ended up me winning the game.
What
Yeah.
do we wanted to see in the next campaign? Is that?
Yeah. I definitely want to come up with more scenarios and just have more stuff along the lines of. I've said it a million times, like the artillery field, or we do like artillery barrages where.
There's a scenario like for that about the beach landing one. We didn't play it in this
Yeah.
campaign, but there's one where you have the attacker coming up off like the beach,
Mhm.
and then the opponent has, I think, an artillery and a mortar
Mm.
that they can use.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I like the idea. I know there are official rules for it. Like there's I think the train campaign has it. That one has the mortar and such. Where there's like some form of gun emplacement, or there's something on the board where it's like it's up for grabs. Whoever gets to it can use it.
Right.
And I like the idea of stuff like that where it's it can change the game. I think it has to be done carefully because if you make it too good and basically as soon as basically whoever gets to it just wins the game at that point. But if you've got a gun emplacement that's out in the open, well, yeah, you get to it, it's super powerful, but now you're not behind cover, you're just going to get shot at. So I think it can be done well, but I definitely wanted to do that. I know we talked about doing like we were talking about like for the final game to do multiplayer, do like a 2v2 or a 3v3.
Yeah, that actually brings us into the next topic, which is going to be like multiplayer in games and how we think they should work. Because I know it's kind of rough. I remember when we first started here, like the first intro game we ever did here at Spray Gunner.
We had like 4 tables going.
Yeah, it was 4 people. It was like you, Spence, I forgot who else, but it was 4 players playing just a 500 ducat list, and that took like.
Well, we were still everybody. I think at that point in time.
Oh, yeah,
this
didn't
was
know the rules.
This was months ago when that happened, and it was, we were still learning the game ourselves, learning how to play it and how all the mechanics worked out. So we were doing just for time constraints, 500 ducat, and then as closer to the campaign went, we started 700 and sometimes 900, like one-off games. But when we started the campaign, it was at the normal, no glory, 700 ducat, and then we go from there.
Yeah, I know someone in the Discord had mentioned like a really cool game mode that was essentially like King of the Hill, which kind of made sense. You could play it with 4 players.
Yeah, that one's been good for like three players.
I think 3 would be good because then you don't have 4 like. Because the second you do 4 and you're not playing together, 2 people are on the same side of the board already. Unless you do corners, you know what I mean? But even then, you're going to be closer to one person than you are to somebody else. So the King of the Hill one with 3 would be pretty cool.
A team tournament too, I think, would be a cool concept, and I haven't seen that really played. Where it's if you have like Trench Pilgrim, New Antioch, Iron Salt Knight, as one team versus Black Grail, Heretic, Legion, and Court.
That'd be cool. I think that's more of like a logistical like. Where are all the Trench Pilgrim players? Where are the, we don't have that in our group. We don't have enough people to organize it that way. Like if we're doing 2v2 games,
it doesn't have to be 2v2.
I know what you're saying. Just an example.
Just you're like a team or whatever. This this whatever expeditionary force from these multiple.
I see what you're saying.
Up.
Okay. Yeah,
so like, you just wouldn't play those. So it's like if me and Mike, for instance, were New Antioch and he was Trench Pilgrims, you were Heretic, Legion, and Court, you would be on the same team, in parentheses, quote unquote team.
Oh, that's what you're saying. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I did think it was fun. I mean, our first game it was fine, but I think in the future it would be fun to do like some joint games, have more of like a faithful versus heretic thing going on. Just because of like logistics, we couldn't really have a hard,
that was one of our biggest things was because we have a decent sized group, but I think we started with 8 people. I think.
Yeah, we started with 8, and we ended with like 4. And it's just
just
how it goes. It happens.
Most campaigns that I've ever been, I haven't done too many, but most that I've either been in or heard from is usually by the end, you get people that have just been beaten up too much and can't go, or work gets in the way. It's not uncommon for people to just drop out.
Yeah.
I was in both of those. At the end, I was like, what's the point? I'm just a punching bag at this point for everybody. I'm like, and everybody else dropped out. We're now at 5 people. So I'm like, I got a work thing. I'm just gonna drop out.
I don't think it's fair that you dropped out game 6. I think you and I are gonna play game 6 again.
I want to see that.
I played Mike game 1.
Just as punishment. 4? Everybody versus Mike.
Yes. Everybody versus Eric. oh, him, Mike.
Well, I was gonna say one of the other things that I wanted to do. Speaking of kind of fun ideas for games. I know we had joked about for our final battle. We had talked about doing like a 3v3 because I think we had 3. Church and 3 heretic is do that, and then basically whichever side won then gets in a big skirmish and then do a free for all. I thought that would be kind of fun. I know the big one that
That's cool.
the big one I've wanted to do, mainly just because it sounds stupid and fun.
The zombie horde.
I just want to do
So
Oops All Thralls.
We could actually do that because there's a mechanic from Necromunda that is about like plague zombies coming around, and there's a mechanic on how to control the zombies.
Yeah, because I mean, you can look at there's a handful of different games that have essentially like a non-player operative.
Yeah.
NPC.
Basically an NPC type of thing, and that's kind of what I had thought about. I'm like, I think it'd be just kind of fun. Is do like a 900 ducat list, and then just do 900 ducats worth of thralls, and then for fun, I was like, give one of them Beelzebub's Embrace, but you don't know which one it is, and that's the one that thrall has 4 melee attacks, and if all 4 of them hit you, then you die instantly.
What do you guys think as far as like terrain layouts go?
More line of sight blocking.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I agree.
I mean,
I knew you were gonna say that too.
I like the trenches, but I also like verticality.
Yeah.
So I do have a trench board that I made, and we can post pictures of that. But I'm also started working on a pseudo, shelled out village town board that'll have elevation in it too.
Yeah,
and I think you're working on one too, aren't you?
I'm working on the train. I don't remember what the scenario is called.
Armor train.
Armor train, yeah, where it's got there's a big hill in the middle with a bridge and a train on top of it. I've been working on that, but same where I like the idea of it being a bombed out village because I originally wanted to do trenches, but I was like, you know what, let's have some more variety. I'm like, we've already got a big, really nice trench board. And you already talked about how you were expanding that to add more to it, which
it started as a 4x4 board, and then I'm like, you know what?
Up to 8 foot now.
Then I went up to 6 foot, 6x4, and then I'm like, while I'm here, let me just expand it. And now I have an 8 foot by 4 foot, but it can be broken down. It's modular, so it can be broken down into either 2 4x4 boards, a 6x4, or an 8x4.
Yeah, that's great.
So it gives us plenty of options.
Yeah,
and that was another thing we talked about was using that as like doing like the 6x2 board, and you could essentially, instead of running like a 2v2 game, is have 2 one-on-one games just playing on the same board.
Yeah,
where you'd have a little bit of crossover in the middle, which would get a little confusing.
It's just like a really long section of trench.
Maybe a cool way to run like a tourney though. It's like, hey, this is your section of the board.
That's what I'm saying. Like it'd be super cool. Is literally just have one giant board.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And everybody, there's technically your board ends here.
you just want me to make a 4th section of No Man's Land.
Yeah, and it's cool because as we get more players too, you hear people talking about making their boards, and I feel like every other week we'll have somebody, hey, we're from this game store. We didn't know there was a Trench Crusade Discord for Tampa, and like the guys over at like For Honor and stuff hitting us up, and they got a group going over there that we didn't even know about. They're doing boards and stuff like that too. So we're gonna have all these like. Give it a couple months, we'll have like a lot of options, and I think that's my favorite part of the game. Is like it really doesn't matter what the setup is as long as like you can both agree that it's fair. And stuff
when
like that,
when I first started bringing my terrain in at the time when we were still learning the rules, like it wasn't even painted, like it was just raw foam and cardboard.
That's how mine is right now.
And just over the time working on it, now it's all. By the time the campaign started, it was all painted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you got to start someplace.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. We're gonna keep getting more players and stuff too. We have more learners events and stuff like that in the pipes later on down the road here at Spray Gunner. We're actually recording at Spray Gunner right now. We love the guys over here. They always host us and they stay late for us whenever we play, and they don't need to do that, so it's awesome. And then we also have Eric here, who is in the
missionary program.
Yeah, he's in the mission. I was going to say missionary position, but we have Eric in the missionary position right now.
But yeah, I am the Tampa missionary. I guess on behalf of Factory Fortress or whatever. So I do get like some preview stuff from Tuamas and whatever. We're not supposed to, we're not always supposed to talk about it, but I will, tell what I can. And so we have a lot of stuff coming up. It's very exciting. And whatever I can reveal, I will. And there's a lot of it to come.
Yeah,
And this is also a good thing to know, because if there's ever any odd gaps in the podcast, it's probably because we wandered into an area we're not supposed to talk about.
That'll be edited.
Yeah.
Speaking of gaps that you probably just heard.
You said I could say it. You say it all the time. You said if you buy the album, you could say it.
You're not my
Only
dad. Let's talk about hobby real quick. Like, what have you been working on this past month or whatever for hobby related?
Hobby-wise, I've only been working on the llama because my warband has been finished painted. Honestly, I probably need to get back to my Blood Angels because I never finished my Blood Angels, and I love my Blood Angels. Okay.
The other Mike?
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of kit bashing. I'm a bit more of one of the IT focused guys in the group. I do IT security as a day job, so I goof around on the computer entirely too much. So I know I've done a bunch of kit bashing stuff for my Grail. Helped out a lot with the War Llama.
He's also made a hilarious Mudang pit locust.
Yeah,
Oh, that too.
If you've ever seen the Mudang memes about the little hippo,
It's a pygmy hippo.
a pygmy hippo or something
Yeah.
from a Chinese zoo or something like that. Somebody had posted a meme of the pit locust with the Mudang head on it, and I was like, oh, I can make that in 5 minutes, and, and did that. And then you actually went and supported it and printed it and painted it.
You can go on my Instagram and see it. It came out pretty well.
It looked great, yeah. So, but yeah, I do a lot of the kit bashing stuff like that, especially with our group. Anytime there's something of, oh, I want to put this gun on somebody. I've done a lot of reposing for my own guys. I've been working heavily with the Plague Knight, which is an awesome model. I love the way it looks, but it's a very, very hard model to mess with. So I still working on that one. More recently, I like to attempt to play Black Templars. So Black Templar stuff just got released. So I just picked a bunch of that up in the last week or two. I've been very heavily doing that stuff. But so I've been building my Black Templars for the last week or so now, since all that stuff came out, and I too have a board that I started working on and need to put some more time and effort into because I want to do that.
I'm gonna force you to paint that motherfucker too. I've been to your house, and Mike has like 20 years of like just grayed out plastic all over his walls.
Yeah, Mike has a bad problem of
Pile of gray shame.
I have multiple. Multiple 3D printers that are generally running all the time, so I have a lot of stuff that's out. In fact, a lot of my friends in the 40K hobby, they joke I don't have a pile of shame, I have a store shelf of shame, because my display case, I actually have a shelf of unopened boxes of Space Marines that it's still in their box plastic.
I walked in, I was like, "You ever gonna paint these motherfuckers?" He's like, "Never."
I was joking with him because the new stuff that I just bought up, he's like, "When are you gonna paint those?" I'm like, "Bro, they got to get built and sat on the shelf and aged for 6 months first."
God, dude.
Eric, what have you been working on?
So after the campaign, kind of took a little break, refreshing. But my next project, which I have on my table, is I want to finish out my Iron Sultanate demo warband. I think I have demo warband for every faction except Iron Sultanate. And I really love the Sultanate models. I really kind of want to take my time with them.
They are gorgeous sculpts.
Yeah, they are beautiful models. I think they did a really good job with them. And I want to come up with like a color scheme that I like and figure out what I want to do with them. And I'm also thinking about doing Sultanate next on the campaign. I haven't fully decided yet, but House of Wisdom is kind of calling me, so I kind of want to like brainstorm what I want to do for that. But yeah, Iron Sultanate, that's my next warband.
Nice.
I've been working on more terrain, actually.
What?
That's what I
Really?
Yeah, I know, right? Shocker.
I wouldn't guess. We're literally, for our listeners, we're sitting next to Johnny's terrain board right now.
Yeah.
It's like a mountain of fucking trenches
Very
and
immersive.
buildings and stuff. Yeah, it's awesome.
No, I'm working on 2 different terrain. It's a set of trees from that Mike actually printed for me. They're actually from Bysterium. They're like
Really
creepy,
cool model.
I love all
really
their
cool
models,
trees.
Yeah.
And then I'm also working on a trench gallows station. So for hanging Mike's heretics.
Yeah, and we talked about verticality. That's one thing I really love too. It's like you can do like a kind of more like conventional trench like setup, or you can go tall. Like you can. I've seen some really interesting tall boards, like burned out villages, like ruined monasteries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I really love how you can go either way with your options.
Oh yeah, one of the coolest ones I've seen online was they did a war zeppelin, like a crashed war zeppelin.
Yeah, that's sick.
And to do the verticality, it's the ribs of the zeppelin, and then they've actually got it crashed on the trenches, so it's got trenches at the bottom, and then you've got verticality of the ribs that have platforms.
I wonder if they use that big blimp from Station Forge.
No, they were just doing. It was all cardboard.
Wow.
I wish I could remember. I'll have to find it and see if we can't post it somewhere. But I know I've seen it before where they were doing it all out of cardboard and plastic. They were going old school. They weren't doing this 3D printing and digital stuff. It was all just handmade, and it looked great. It really did.
You guys have any shout outs?
I'll shout out Westphalia for their gorgeous Red Brigade models, because I was going to do regular New Antioch, and then I saw those, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love the Cadaver Core models too. I started using those as my anointed, just because they have more options than the regular models. We could put whatever we want on the new anointed. I also wanted to shout out, obviously, I talked about Spray Gunner earlier. I want to shout out Yuli specifically, and Walt. Those guys always hang back for us to play. Again, they don't need to do that. They just kind of find something to do work-wise and just watch us play and bullshit with us. And then I also want to shout out...
well, Yuli actually plays with us too.
He plays
Salt
too.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes. And I also want
really
to shout
good
out...
at cheating with Saltnet too.
Yeah, and then Black Flag as well, for letting us do the Learners event there and just being cool in general with us.
Which the next Learners event we're doing is be here at Spray Gunner.
It'll be here at Spray Gunner.
And I think he said...
I think September, was
September-ish? End of September?
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some more information about that soon and talk about that. Because we had a lot of fun with the last one we did. We had a lot of people show up and...
yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, I didn't think...
I was like, oh,
I was kind of shocked. I wasn't expecting that many people, but thanks to Turtle, his name's also Mike, funny enough. It's the third Mike. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Know that.
No.
Yeah, it's also Mike. Turtle over at Black Flag for letting us set that event up and run it and trusting us with it.
I'm going to make you guys fight Highlander style.
There can only be one.
Me and other Mike also have dogs named Jax. We both have a dog.
I know,
named Jax.
it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. All right. You want to close this out? Or?
And I think going forward too, we're going to try to have some guests. I'll reach out to Westphalia to see if they want to come on at some point.
Yeah, just a shout out to our listeners. We know we're new, and Fred is very esteemed in the community, and we're just honored that he chose us as the successors, and we're honored that you guys are staying around and listening to our podcast.
Yeah, we hope that we can live up to your expectations, and always reach out on the Discord to any of us, and let us know if there's something that you think we can do better, or something that we're missing that you think we should have. We're always interested to see what we can do.
And don't forget, give us a follow on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and if you want to support the show, there's Buy Me a Coffee, which the link is in our Discord for that.
If you guys ever want to post pictures of your models, show us what you're working on, do that in the mess hall, and we will see you next time.